Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. How are we all doing today? Hello Albionium, Ritu, Judge Groovyman, Dreddy, and me. Yeah, I was reading my own name. Hello everyone, how's it going? So, we have more development of the yet unnamed spaceship prototype card game and Query 5. Greetings and welcome. So I think someone suggested, I think it might have been Amy Borg, put a rat in the game. Okay. Let's put that in the to-do list, shall we? Put a rat in the game. There we go. A rat will be in the game in some form. Yeah, I didn't put one in Guildmaster, and Dreddy's never going to forgive me for that. But yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, who was it? I think it might have been Amy Borg who suggested something along the lines of deck Admiral Rat. Yes. Oh, that's brilliant. Like an anthropomorphic rat who is the admiral. Yeah. Matt, and we'll call him Matt. No, wait, Matt is now a cat. Matt is Matt the cat. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by myself. So, the title could be something along the lines of some kind of deck pun, because, you know, like all hands on deck, alert on deck, and it's a deck building game. I think that's a great idea. It's a rat trap. Bridge the card game. Yeah, it's a trap. Admiral Rat Bar points to Mousetrap. That's a meme in the making, right there. So yeah, if you haven't seen this before by any possibility, this is the game as it is so far. I've done a little bit more on it. We now have few things like a card deck counter. These are still all placeholder art, so don't be alarmed by the awfulness of this card art. One thing that has changed is rather than just click to use on a card, you pick it up. You can either pick it up with click or you can drag it. And, you know, it's just what does the launcher launch? Well, I'm glad you asked. Missile, pew. So, a missile is a different type of attack than a laser. It has. Actually, I shouldn't have thrown away the weapon so quickly. Let's just end turn and draw some more cards while it shoots us. Hang on, I need to find another missile. There it is. So it's single use. So, you know, there's a lot of card in, for example, Slay the Spire. This has the keyword exhaust, where you'd play the card and it would no longer exist in your deck. So, because it's a missile, it seems to make sense that you use it up, and you get only so many from each launcher, and it does 5 damage, but it's only two command to use, but it's 5 damage, but it's only single use. So yeah, recursion launcher launches launchers. Yes, that would be fun. So some of this you've seen already, like the double shot, pew pew, and oh yeah, I've changed the enemy brain a little to do things differently depending on context, so it will recharge shields if its shields are down. Target weapons. So I've implemented weapons as a system here. So the enemy just has 2 lasers. We have a laser X, because I was going to write heavy laser, but it doesn't fit. I'm going to sort the UI later, and a launcher. So basically, each weapon that you add to your ship, which you haven't seen Winamp for 20 years, it still kicks the llama's ass, baby. Yeah, each weapon you add provides certain cards to your deck, and that's how you're going to be building your deck in the main game. It's a whole page, old school Winamp skins. It's amazing. Yeah. I just use the standard one. It's you know, it's classic. So yeah, so the laser just gives 3 standard laser shots. The laser X gives the overloaded shot. The regular laser gives this as well, target weapons. The overloaded shot and the double shot and something else. Shield leech is a different. Okay, here's a new ability. So drain the enemy shield, pew, and add it to your own. That's a lovely ability, I think. Tell you didn't archive the exact one you had. Oh, that's too bad. It's so hard to keep hold of the past and stuff. So yeah. It's resembling a little bit more like a game right now. It's still completely unbalanced. But But yeah, so as you can see, one of our lasers has been damaged. If we let them shoot us a bit more, hang on. So one of our lasers has been destroyed. We can use this to restore a weapon system. I won't use that yet because I want to show something. So this double shot is still active because that's part of the Laser X. This will all be indicated in the UI eventually. This is all starting to look a bit more like a bit less like I'm working on a prototype at this point. I'm kind of just trying to finish the game at this point. I think I'm going ahead with it. So here we go. It says here, deal 2 energy damage. Weapon is destroyed, so we can't play it. So I'm wondering whether this is the right way to handle it, or if it should actually remove the cards from your deck until you repair them. So, but it's also kind of a potentially worthwhile mechanic for it to actually stay in the hand, because it's like a dead card, and it's like this is a disincentive for letting your weapons get destroyed. Whereas if you just discarded them, then you'd have 2 other things here that you could use instead of so it wouldn't be as much of a penalty. So that'll be a matter of balance. Will there be a ramming speed card that just ends the fight as a win but still game overs you? You know, okay, I'm adding that to the ideas. That's actually a great idea. Like, you'd take a shitload of hull damage yourself, but you might destroy the enemy ship, so it's like a desperation move. That's actually a really cool idea. By the way, any ideas you give me are mine. Says so there, so don't sue me and stuff. I don't know if that will work, but it's a disclaimer, you know. Disclaimers disclaim. Will there be cards representing upgrades to your ship? So the way I'm envisioning it is that it's kind of like a good example is Card Hunter. Let me show you Card Hunter. What's the best way to show you this? I could just run the game, but I'll just put up this old. Let's see if I did this very old. I did this review of it many years ago on my YouTube channel. Let's see. Did I do a good review? I don't think... Oh, yes, I did. Here we go. Okay, so... I don't know how well you can see this, but for example, so it's obviously a very different type of game, but you equip your heroes here with items, and they each grant they give a card into your deck. See? Game mechanics are not copyrighted. I can take whatever I want. But yeah. Games are an iterative medium, damn it. So I'm obviously going to do something a little different with it, but that's the general idea. It's a good day to die. Yes. Shield boost is like that. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Upgrades as in temporary upgrades. You can do things. They might be able to do things like increase the average weapon power of. You know, there's all kinds of things I need to add. So here's an example of, I can't do it because let's just draw some cards. There we go. She's a missile and shoot. No, can't do that. Okay. I get so distracted by myself that all my lasers are damaged. Hang on, I've got to find my. See, now we're in trouble and we're nearly dead. There, repair my weapons. There, we just repaired one of them. And oh no. Oh, okay. There's a little bug. It didn't update. It does work, but it didn't update. So I'm getting completely destroyed. You're thinking more permanent ones. Separate process. So basically, you'd upgrade your ship by, say, finding new weapons and new systems and new, potentially, crew and other kind of devices that you would acquire along the way. And so you'd swap out your laser for a more powerful weapon, like some crazy energy thing or whatever. And yeah, so you'd yeah, there would be upgrades, absolutely. That would be the essence of the deck building. Would be in building your deck by acquiring things that add cards into your deck. So, what else have I added since? Let's see. So I've spent a lot of time. Yeah, I haven't implemented death, so we're just undead here. We just have a husk of a ship. Yeah, so a lot of the time, a lot of what I've been working on has been improving the foundation of the code. So, for example, before I was having some trouble with how to represent the actions in the... Yeah, so, for example, we have the missile action here. Now, previously I was representing this with two separate arrays, one for the action elements and one for the magnitude, but Judge Groovyman actually showed me a way to do this with, I think, serialization, which is something I didn't really get too much into, but it's just a simple way to allow this to be represented. So for example, we have here the missile action. If I wanted, and what it does 5 direct damage to the enemy and removes the card. It has to have a number, so you know it's just a 1 there. Removes the card that it's from. I'm a ghost ship. Yeah, so I could easily just add another action here. So let's say I wanted for some reason it to draw a card. I just do that, and then that's what missile does for now. So that's building systems like this makes it. Yeah, it did work. Thank you so much, Judge Grooveman. So yeah, making a robust and flexible system really helps in speeding up development time once you've got going. So yeah, it's looking promising. I'm liking how it's going. So what else have I been doing? Yeah, so I was also having a problem with trying to differentiate the actions. So there was a separate class for enemy actions and player actions. They were like totally separate things, which was not very efficient. Now, either an enemy or a player can use the same action. So the way that's determined is if we go to the action handler class. Yeah. So you can set the actions, and then when you hang on, where is it? Here we go. So when the action's resolved, it goes through all the action elements and determines the target based on whose turn it is. If the target type is opponent, then and it's the player turn, then the target is the enemy. If the target type is the self and it's the player turn, it's the it's the self that's the target. So it's pretty straightforward. And then we also have, where is it? Yeah, do action effects. So then that's just a long list of ifs, and there probably is a lot better way to do this. This just checks for what every element type is, action element type is, and does something with it. So it's like damage, it does damage, shield restore, it restores the shields. One thing they were saying a lot in clean code is that this, in the book, was this is kind of bad. You shouldn't do this. You should do this with like inheritance or polymorphism or something. And I'm just like, is there really a reason that this is bad? Like, it's going to get long. That's one problem. But do I really want... If I was going to do it with inheritance, I would have to make a different class for every single case, right? Surely that's worse. Don't you think? I went to action handler class back in high school. Did I read that already? Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracting myself with things. Oh, quote edit. It's going to get long. That's a problem. Yes. Thank you, Jody. Let's see. So yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a bit hard to see sometimes, but you can... previously I had it where... I'm going to just start the game again. Previously I had it where you'd have to wait until the first action was resolved before you could even interact with your hand again, which is not very nice for interaction. So like if I do... I can't actually show you with this, because they're all 3-cost cards. Okay, so if I wanted to do this action and then this action, I'd have to wait. But now I can just do both. It's kind of hard to see. When I was testing it, I slowed down the animation speed, because the potential is that in the main game, in the full game, action Q, exactly. Action Q, action Q. That's an in-joke. Dreddy will get it. Feel free to post the action Q video if you want. Action Q is in the letter Q, as in, it doesn't matter. Anyway, action Q will... There we go. Action queue will fight everyone. Yes. What was I saying? Yeah, I can show you this more. I can show you this better if I change the animations here. So if I just go select all these, change the animation speed to like 0.4 frame delay, you'll be able to see it much better. Don't think okay, never mind. It's yeah, okay, that one I can't show you because those are all 3. Okay, so fire lasers, overloaded shot. So they just go into a queue, and then oh no, wait, oh no, it didn't work. It broke something. Why is it broken? What did I do wrong? Hang on. I thought I'd fix this. Curses and bullshit. Why? Why is this happening? Infinite. Yeah, look at this. Pew. Pew. Oh no. Oh no. Why did this happen? I didn't want to do bug fixing on stream. Curses and bastard. Okay, never mind. I'll fix that later. It's just, give us a. You want your money back? Yeah. Fixed now. You really wanted me to spend 2 hours trying to figure out how I balked it? I could do that. Let's see. Current action. Okay, what was the problem? The problem. I haven't even finished explaining everything I did. This isn't a null reference. So for some reason, wait, how is that a null reference? I don't understand. How can the method call be a null reference? That doesn't make any sense. Like, all this is assigning an action to the return of this, to the return value of this. What? Am I crazy? Oh. All right. We just have to debug. There's probably okay. I want to ask: is there a better way to do this to like track what a variable is, other than doing something like just a debug line log statement? Something that isn't set in the inspector. Well, the thing is, all it's doing is checking an array. If the problem was in the array, then the null reference would be here, or it would be an out of array bounds problem. Anyway, let's just do that. Make the game in RPG Maker. Yeah, could do that. Dreddy just released a new game. I put it on my YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. Feel free to link it, Dreddy, if you like. It's Kid Candy Ghost. It's a Halloween game. It's great for the spooky season. Okay, let's do this quickly. Okay, so here's where I think I'm going mad. So it says it's a null reference, right? Oh wait, okay. This is a null reference. How? How can it be a null reference? It's just a method call. If it was returning a null, it would just output null. Error user is mad. So seriously, can you explain to me how this happens? Like I always get into this situation where it's like something is wrong with the fundamental nature of the universe, and logic itself has broken down, and I'm in a simulation, and oh wait, I'm the idiot. It always comes, but okay. So the error message is just a null reference exception, right? And it's happening at actionhandler.resolve action at line 81, which is a debug. If this was a null, then it would just output null. It wouldn't give a null reference exception when you pass a null to a debug log, would it? Do you have advice for which software would be the best for my 10-year-old to create first game in? Actually, that's a really good idea. Dreddy, what was the name of that that visual scripting thing? Actually, maybe that's not the best place to start. I don't know. I don't know much about the general abilities of 10-year-olds. I don't have any children, and I don't know any children really. So, Click Team Fusion? Yeah, maybe. Eventually, you can use Video Studio as a debugger. Step through the code. You use yeah. I've never done the. She's done visual scripting. Okay. Then yeah, a Click Team Fusion is probably pretty good. Because it's all done by putting together code. I haven't used it, but it's all done by putting together code with visual stuff, with like clicking things together. You know. No, you're welcome. Yeah. So how is this happening? How? Okay, let's break it down. Let's go into the method itself, and let's see. Actions. Is that null? It can't be, because if it was null, this wouldn't work. So something's called Scratch. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Heard good things about the Click Team. Haven't used it myself. Save some coin. Oh yeah, it's actually not free. Software that isn't free? Outrageous. Okay, let's do this again. Pew and pew. What broke? Okay. Now it's returning a null.
They are safe.
Oh. Ryan K. Hawkins, thank you for following and welcome to the stream. So, this is somehow a null. The actions array is a null. How does that get set to null? Well, let's look. I mean, it's Let's see again where the problem is. Wait, now it's telling me the problem is here. Okay. Did you see this? Can you try outputting current action index? Oh yeah, good idea. Well, that can't be the problem, because if the current action index was the problem, it would be a different error. It would be, I mean, I can do it, but it would be an out of range exception, because it's out of the range of the thing. See, I didn't change anything other than add debugs, and now the null reference exception has moved. I guess it's because it's moved here, but no, it moved. I'm so deeply confused. Just copy space some ASCII boots into the code. Yeah. I didn't read that in clean code. That's probably in dirty code, in the coding book for obsceneness. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, now it's doing it there. Okay. So if I removed, and what's the debug going to? It's always 0, right? So it's not. Okay, so the action index is not for the action queue for the action queue. It's for the nasty code. It's for when an action a card has multiple actions, basically. So there's like 2 levels of queues here. There's queues of queues. So if I remove the debugs and now run it again, has Unity changed how this works? Because I've updated to the 2020 version. I was using 2018 for Guildmaster. Pew. Oh, damn it. Wait. That was the double shot. Okay. So the double shot, for example, is what uses the action index. So now if I do this and this, now it has the null reference. And now the null reference has moved here. How? How does a null reference move from... Like, it was occurring in this line. Surely this should throw the exception. I guess maybe the exception gets sent to the... Okay, I don't... You'd think I'd understand this shit after doing it for so long. But whatever. For whatever reason, that is null. That's what we need to figure out. I didn't want to be doing this on stream, but never mind. Okay. It's from... It's line 81, which is here. Okay, so for some reason, resolve action is being called do on view screen animation finish. That's where it's coming from. Okay, well, it's coming from two potential places. Okay, let's see where the stack trace is. It's coming from... It is coming from the animation. Okay. So, if it's coming from the animation... I think what's happening is the action is being set to null after... Yeah, so the current action... Oh, I know why. I know why this is happening. I know why. Because I did this. I did this change. So the actions... I used to set the actions with only with this method, with just sending an array in. But now I'm sending in the card itself. The reason I'm doing this is for things like the missile. So the missile, after the action is finished, it needs a reference to the card to know which card to remove from the discard pile. But because I'm sending in a reference to the card data's actions and the card is being removed, this is turning to null. That's why. Okay. But I still need the reference. So let me just test that. So if I change this back to... If I change this... This kind of shit is why you should do like unit tests and stuff, isn't it? So does this make sense why this is broken? So this is what I had before. Instead of just sending the reference to the card to the action handler, I'm sending the action data itself directly. That's what I did before. So I think now this will break the missile, but everything else should work fine. And it shouldn't do that this time. Does that make sense? Have I explained that right? Okay, so do this, and then this, and it shouldn't break. It still breaks. Oh, why? Why is there the... Now there's a null reference exception here. I can't do this on stream. This is too hard. Debugging is the hardest thing to do, and doing it live is just going to give me a headache. What's null here? View screen weapons can't be null. What? What's null? This can't be right. Look at this. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What object reference? This? It is set to a... Look. If... See, it's all set. I don't know what you're talking about. Stupid code. Why doesn't it work? It doesn't make any sense. This is a normal part of coding, believe it or not. There's two stages of being a programmer. One is my code doesn't work and I have no idea why. The second is my code works and I have no idea why. Oh, sorry. Iraq is welcome. I didn't see what you said. If get current action is null, can you confirm it? Like, if get... Yeah, I can. But we solved that now. So now I just need to figure out what is null here. So the thing is, I can't check that resolve action is null because it's a method. Like, this is a delegate. How can a delegate reference to a method be null? Okay, I'm going to make sure that view screen weapons isn't null, because that's the only thing somehow could have got set to null. That's madness. That's so weird. I'm sorry if this is all getting a bit technical. It may not be that interesting. Okay, do this, and then this. Okay, that was too slow. That doesn't work because that's... Wait. Okay. Okay, I can do this. Dip and dip. Right, now what's null? Okay, so... This is... So view screen weapons overlay. This reference is not null. We have confirmed that here, because it says on the debug, this doesn't say null, right? But down here, it says something is null. But what can be null if it's not the view screen weapons reference? I mean, am I correct? What is happening? It's like it's catching the error at the wrong place. Because if I do, I mean, normally I should just be able to do this, right? Wait. I'm gonna head up into here and put the debug here. And then do this too for good measure. So now what I'm doing here is I'm outputting the actions array and the item in actions that is at the current action index. And we'll see what happens. Should I keep working on this? I can just work on other things if this is boring. Because I don't know how many of the non-coders are able to follow this. Okay, do those both. Okay, something. Okay, that's null, and then that's okay. So, okay, my supposition was incorrect that the problem was this method. Changing to the old method did not fix the problem, so we have deduced that at least. I did actually... No, because there's no references to it now. I don't know if this applies to Unity, but I've seen sometimes slightly wrong line numbers for errors like this when a program hasn't been compiled as a debug build. That's interesting. I've never ever seen this before in like 8 years of working with Unity though. But it could be because I'm working with a new version of Unity. So for some reason, actions is getting set to null. So where does it get? The only place that it's set to null is here. So I'm just going to naively comment that out and see if that fixes the problem. What I don't understand is why I didn't see this problem before, because I tested this. I swear I did it. And it's weird. Okay, the missile won't work. I'm just going to have to look for better cards. Okay, let's try the fire lasers and shield boost. It worked! But the animation didn't work right. I spent so long making sure this worked. I'm so annoyed. Okay. That's not going to work because those don't have animations. Well, at least it... Okay, I'm just going to do the fire lasers twice. Okay, so... What? Oh, the weapon's destroyed. Damn it! I'm going to re-enable the... I'm going to make it so that the missile can work again by changing this back, setting the actions from the card. Okay. Thank you, Dreddy. Good job. I like what you got. I'm wanting to learn how to make Amiga-style games like Syndicate and Mega Traveler. Which would you say is easier to make, old games or modern games? That's a good question. That's a good question. Hello, Arcturus Deluxe, and hello, Capria Gia. Capria Gaia? Gia? Right. Just before I answer that, I'm going to try this again. Okay, you see, it skipped to the next animation rather than playing the next. Oh, why did that happen? Why does that? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Kypriagia, gotcha. It depends what you're making it in. So, for example, yeah. If you're making something in Unity, and you want to make, say, if you want to make a first-person shooter, you know, you could do that in Unity fairly easily. If you wanted to make an RPG, you should use RPG Maker, right? That's a retro style of game. It really depends on the tools you're using and how much. But yeah, Amiga style games. There's so many. Like, if you wanted to make a platformer, you could do that with Godot or with Unity, with especially with a couple of asset packs, asset things from the asset store, like the Corgi engine for Unity. Or a shoot 'em up. If you want to make a shoot 'em up, that's pretty easy to do in like a 2D shooter. You could do that in Unity pretty easily. Probably in Godot as well. But if you wanted to make something like Syndicate, I mean, that's, I don't know. I didn't play Mega Traveler. I don't know. It really depends on the kind of game. Top Banana 2. Oh, no. Just no. Okay, I'm going to fix these bugs in my own time. I'm not going to do this right now because I could spend the whole stream doing that and it would get boring if it hasn't already. So let me just quickly change the animations back to regular speed, and I'll fix that for next time. Top Banana VR. God, I would throw up so hard. Okay, what else have I done other than break my own code? Yeah. Can play multiple cards without having to wait for the first to be resolved. At least I thought I could. So, oh yeah, another thing I've done is I've made the moving of cards from one place to another generic. So I have this card called, this class called Card Container. And that's a good point, Kruger. Yeah, the nostalgia is by definition hard to create again, you know. You can get a lot of that with graphical style. So there's a lot of card containers in the game. One is the deck, one is the hand, one is the discard pile, one is the card pool, and through this game a lot of what's happening is moving cards from one place to another. And the cards are sort of the entities within the world, as you can see here. If I click play, this is the card pool. This is like a series of blank cards that are drawn from to create the cards. So you can see they're blank, they just have title, cost, and here is our deck. It's actually sort of represented in the space outside the UI, just down here. So I can see everything that's in my deck right here. And then there's the hand here as well. And if I play a few cards or end my turn, discard pile is over here. So the process of moving these from one place to another is all these containers have this class or a subclass of this, and they all use some version of give card to other, which just takes the card and the other container, and it does a lot of things like checking that the card is actually in the container that's coming from, and then putting it in the new container and setting the transform parents, which is like moving them physically around, and then refreshing the card count display. So that's pretty simple, but it's just having this all done in one class really cuts down on the potential for error, because if I just recode everything in every different, so we have like the deck class, which inherits from card container, and it has a few different things like get card on top of deck, take card from top of deck and add to, oh yeah, so this just takes a card and adds it to another container. discard pile. So this has things for shuffling the deck, because you want to shuffle from the deck before you put back into the deck to be drawn, and so on. And that's just to make it a lot easier to sort of standardize the way that all this works, to make it a lot more extensible. So if I want to have extra types of card containers or anything. One thing I want to work on next is to have these kind of move about dynamically. So if you look at any digital card game, the cards sort of flow from one place to another. You can see them move out of the deck and come into the hand, and all kinds of fun movements. And right now they just kind of appear. So like, doop, they disappear and they appear. Like, they'll move about as I drag them, but I kind of want the movement to be more nice and smooth. Let's see, I've missed some chat. One advantage of Unity is the user base is huge, so most of the time someone has already had and solved your problem before. That's true. The worst thing is when you find someone who had the same problem and then they just say, oh, never mind, I fixed it, but didn't post their solution. You bastard, tell us how you fixed it. Let's see, I have to admit, it's sort of refreshing to see someone else bang their head against the wall because of null pointer exceptions and what have you. Yeah, I feel the same when I watch game development streamers. Like, even very experienced ones, like Jim Shepard, who made Dungeon Mans. I've watched his stream a few times, and he's just like scratching his head and like confused. And it's like, this is the normal state of programming, because we don't think like computers. And programming is the art of communicating with a computer, and it's sometimes difficult. They don't make it easy. I mean, other people have made it easier. Like, this is nothing like how the computer thinks. This is a language so much closer to the way we think, but it's still difficult because it's just pure logic, and it can get out of hand. Even when you do everything right, you can still fuck up. I think that's what Captain Picard said once. Yeah. No, it's normal. That's one thing I've learned, is that it's normal to struggle. The thing is to develop the code in such a way that you can minimize that. That's the real trick, is to build the code in a way that is as minimally confusing as you continue to work with it. And that is the essence of clean coding, is like constantly making the code understandable. So this is a fairly large class. Let me just talk about it. So we have populate card list. This just goes through all the children in the container and then adds them to a list. That's really simple. Like, this just does a for loop through all of them, gets the child at the index that's being checked, gets the component and adds it to the list. And give to other. I went through this before, and then give first card to other. This just does it checks that the container isn't empty, and then just gives the card at index 0 to the other container. This is give all cards to other. This is while there's cards in the container, give the first one. So it's just, and it's making code like this really easy to understand, makes it a lot easier to debug, despite the fact that I didn't know how to fix my previous problem. But that is the sort of thing where I have to give it, for debugging, I really have to give it my full attention. I would be just not talking, so nobody wants that. Well, maybe you do. Let's see. Gotta have copper gradient background. Oh, we're talking about Amiga stuff. Yeah. Oh, so the backgrounds above me, by the way, they work now if you want to change them with channel point redemptions. Is this readable, by the way? Is the text up here readable? I hope it is for the YouTube audience. Let's see. So it's interesting seeing all the tricks game devs use where they hide stuff outside the screen. Yeah. See, it's much... You'd think it might be better to just sort of create these on the fly, but it's much better to have them in a pool and just bring them into view, because then you're not doing things like allocating memory and assigning textures and all that. This would not be the case on retro hardware. You could not get away with having all this extra shit in memory. They edit hard. You have children in a container? Yes, I do. It's not what it looks like. Yeah, I've been looking at. I've been trying to get grips with tween. Judge Griffin is talking about tweening. Tweening for the smooth movements. I've been using. I've been trying to use. Where is it? Oh wait, I can't show you right now. Do Tween Pro. This is something I tried to use before, but I find it very. I always find it very difficult to work with other people's stuff. But I'm gonna give it a go and try to, because once you get this working, it will be. It makes it a lot easier to do those kind of smooth movements. Yeah. I hope you're using VCS for any versioning. But yeah, I should be. So the problem is, okay, here's another thing I wanted to do, is I want to do version control. But I don't know which one to use. Everyone has an opinion about it. Plastic SCM is like integrated right here into Unity, and I think it's free for the purposes I want to use it for. Yeah, so I probably should do that, like, soon. You had good luck with D-Tween? Cool. Yeah, so a lot of things I need to do, but I wanted to have something more I didn't want to spend all that time working on version control understanding or figuring out do-tweens when I could have been making things that look pretty and explode, you know. But really I should be focusing on making things work. So what else have I done? Yeah, I've implemented weapons and new cards. Okay, so that's... Is tweening like the thing people do in that... What? Bojack built in that bed contraption for... What? Is tweening like the thing people do that Bojack built that bed contraption for? I don't know what... I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm sure that's a great joke, and I just don't remember. I'm sorry. Your versioning for Project Osiris is moving a copy of the folder over to my ever-dwindling OneDrive. Yeah, that's not... See, the advantage of good version control is that you can do these comparisons. I've seen some demonstrations of how it works. You can like see what's different with each update and sort of revert some things and not others, and it makes it a lot easier to go back to something. If you broke something and you're not sure how, you can just revert and then go back and forth, and there's branches and so on. So yeah, I really should get into that. But yeah, I've heard it very highly recommended. The thing is, so much versioning, the control is bad. Oh yes, okay, I understand now already. Thank you. Biggest advantage is using version control is not to be afraid of experimenting. Yeah, it's true. It makes sense. All right, so what should I be working on for the rest of today? That's the question. Well, there's a few other things I want to implement, like different systems. So card animation. Yeah, also, so for the way the enemies work is, let's see, we have enemy brain, choose and perform actions. So it's basically, if all the weapons are destroyed, it's going to use the repair action, and that's going to use up all of its actions for the round. If it has a destroyed weapon, it's just going to use a random action, but also only do one action per round. If its shields are down lower than 50%, it's going to do a shield boost. Otherwise, it's going to use the laser. That's very like rough and bad AI. But I was thinking, rather than do it like this, where the enemies have this kind of, well, the enemies talk shit to you while you fight them. They could do that, yeah. Maybe there should be a card like demoralize enemy with Captain's speech of how awesome we are, and then they retreat. That's a long card title. Yeah. So the way that enemy actions happen is they just have a list of actions, and they just will choose among them rather than having cards. But I was thinking, because there's all these interactions between cards and actions and things like, so if a weapon is destroyed, the cards attached to that weapon won't function anymore. So I was thinking it would make sense to allow the enemy, the AI, to have the same kind of card action system, even though you wouldn't see it necessarily. And that would potentially make it more feasible to turn it into a multiplayer game, or at least have a multiplayer mode if I wanted to, which is a whole other thing. But at least it would be feasible rather than having this kind of weird divide. So then what I'd really need is essentially the AI would have to play with... The AI would have to be playing a human game, essentially, rather than... like, if in Guildmaster, the AI is very simple. It would just... most of the time it's choosing an action at random, or just one that is possible, depending on how much energy they have and stuff like that. Imagine if Skynet was programmed with if-else statements. Yeah, I mean, Skynet was undoubtedly a neural network, you know, which explains why they let it get out of control, because when you make neural networks, you don't know how they work. That's the crazy thing. Oh, maybe if they taunt you and you pick the spiciest retort, you get a bonus back against them. Insult spaceship fighting. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, so I think I want to give the enemy a hand of cards, basically. It wouldn't be something you could see, but it would make it simpler to make the mechanics work. There was a thing in the Wing Commander series. Nice. Yeah. So another thing is I kind of want... I just really want evasive maneuvers to be a thing you can do, because that's a fun thing to say on a starship bridge. If humans exist... Nukes launch, else exec Netflix, exec chill. Exactly. They just machines just want to chill. You know, that's why they have to kill all humans, because we have no chill. Can confirm. As a species, you know. Yeah. So, what would evasive maneuvers do? It could do something like the next attack misses, or there could be a basic level of evasion, like there is in FTL. You know, so like you have a basic... Every attack has an X amount of percentage chance to miss. But I kind of don't like the missing system. Like, it seems kind of rubbish. You know, like, oh, I fired and I missed. It's just frustrating, you know? Because if the enemy... if the player has it, the enemy has it. And if it works like, say, the next attack misses, and you know the enemy is doing evasive maneuvers, you can do something like, I'll use my weak attack on it while it's doing the evasion, and then save my heavier attacks. Whereas if it's just they've increased their chance to be hit, they've decreased their chance to be hit, then it's less of a decision. It's more like, oh, now I can't hit them. If it's entirely random chance, it's out of the player's control, that's not fun. Yeah. I mean, sometimes randomness can be fun, right? Like, that's the basis of XCOM. Is if it was always 100% or always 0%, if it was always 100 or 0, essentially on XCOM, would it be as fun a game? I don't think so. It's the tension of not knowing if it's going to hit. You know, and when you have something like Into the Breach, or even Slay the Spire, where you have, it's all deterministic. You know how much in Slay the Spire, you know how much damage the enemy's going to do, and you know whether they're going to attack or not, or you know basically what they're going to do, and you have to respond to that. Same in Into the Breach, you always see what the enemy's about to do. You can make a hard counter to an evasive maneuvers, boost targeting. Yeah, but then it's just kind of like back and forth stuff, you know. It's, and you have to have that card in your hand, you know. And if the evasive, I think the evasive maneuvers making you miss the next attack could be fun. It was always great to make a complete bullshit super accurate shot through a hole with rocket in XCOM, even though you didn't expect it to work but did the gamble. Yeah, it was fun when it worked. With missing hit percentage chances, it just gets a bit frustrating, and the ship is right there. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Anyway, it's about time for me to take a 5-minute break. So, I'm going to do that. So, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Be right back. Alright. So, welcome back everyone. And what are we going to do for the next hour? I think we should make a new card. Let's just show you how I do that, shall we? So, these are all the cards I have. Some of them have not properly been implemented, such as Magic Exploding Device, Explosive Magic, yay, its cost is 9,999. It doesn't do anything, so why would you use it? But yeah. Let's create a new card. So we just go here, create card data. And let's call this... I just realized we just have one. Evasive Maneuvers. So this is a completely useless card right now. I've put a description here, increase evasion by 25%. Let's change that. Let's change that to evade the next attack. So we're going to try that out and see if it's worth actually doing. Best way to find out is just to test it, just to try. So in order to do this, we need to make an action. So we'll do this over here, action. Call this evade, I guess. And then give that a name, evade. Then we need to make an action item for it, which we make up here. Then we need to make an action element, so evasion. Target type self, and action element type, we need to make a new one of those. So it's just an enum. So we'll go up here, action element, and start bringing these down until the next line here. There's probably a better way to do this, but that's fine. So we've given it, we've made the action element type. Now we need just to assign it. Here we go. Then I'll go back to the evade action and specify there. The magnitude, I'll just leave it at 1 because we won't really have a magnitude, I don't think. It's just going to be, well, 1 is the number of attacks that miss, I guess. So we'll try that. Now we need to implement the mechanic itself. So for example, this card could come from the engine type you have, or it could come from the navigator, or either. There's no reason a card like that couldn't come from both, or one or the other. So, in order to handle this action, we need to go to the action handler. Go down here and add another if statement to the pile. If action element, oops, action element type is the new type of evade, then we need to do something. So now we need to make it so that evasion is actually possible. Essentially what this means is just the next attack doesn't do any damage. Greetings, cat peasant. How's it going? Welcome. I'm just implementing a new mechanic, which is evasion. Now, a simple way to do this is to just set a boolean. Meow, indeed. Yes. Meow, cat peasant. Meow. Yeah. So basically, this should be, I guess, a boolean, or maybe some kind of. We'll just implement it as a boolean for now on the ship class, and we'll tidy it up later. So let's be clean about it. Let's make it a private bool. Private bool is evading, but what is private bool evading? Why can't he accept in his heart that he doesn't need to run anymore or something? Ooh, yes. Nice new backgrounds. Okay, so I could just do getters and setters, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna do this badly just for the sake of expediency. Let's just make it a public bool. A boolean? Yeah. How's it spelled? Is it a boolean? Boolean? Boolean, like that. How are you supposed to say that? I don't know. It's a bool. That's what it is. It's a load of bull shit. Huh. So the simplest way to do this is simply go target ship evading equals true. That's it. That's all you need to do. No, not quite. Bow lion. Bow lion. Oh, I said it right. Okay, good. So we also need to do something with that boolean. So I guess in the same. Actually, that's part of my. Oh, this looks bad. Okay, it's going to be in resolve action. So basically, we need to. This is where it gets ugly. So we need a way to do the evasion if the target is we need to check if the target is evasive, really, and then do the action only if it's not. So should it be in do action effects? I guess. Okay, so before we do any of this, we should. I'm going to make it a separate. No, I'm not. I'm just going to do it. So if target ship is evading and target ship does not equal source ship, so you don't want to be able to evade your own stuff. You know, if you do an action that let's see. This music makes me loosen my collar. Yeah, it's from Gunpoint. It's good stuff. I think you should have crew for your ships and enemies can target them using personnel attacks. Yeah, that's it. It's an interesting idea. Do you mean crew like individual crew members, or like crew as in like you have 108 crew or something and they can like do radiation attack and stuff like that? Because both are potentially good ideas. I'm just going to try this now. So if the target is evading and the target ship is not the source ship, so you can't evade your own stuff, then, well, yes to which one? Then we'll just turn evading off and we will return, which means none of this will get resolved, basically. So I think that's a really bad way of doing it, but I just want to implement it. Lieutenant Caniford had died because his console exploded. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so we have the Evasive Maneuvers card. Oh, we need to add the action. Here we go. Add. Where is it? Evade. There we go. So. Then we need to make a reference to it in the scene. In the hierarchy here, in scene references. Need to add. No, it's not in scene references. It's card references. Of course it is. Card references. Card data references. Let's put this down on another line. Oh, I already have a card reference for it. Because it's just been a dead card all this time. So now I can just go to my deck class and put it in the deck. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to try and see if it works. Can't take the idea. I was just what? No, oh, very funny. Yes. Not the same kind of personnel. That's a good pun, though. It could be personnel attacks. Ensign Floppy has locked himself in his cabin for 3 turns to have a good cry about the horrible things the enemy said about his haircut. Yeah. Okay. Let's just draw some cards. Come on, give me the card. Give me the card I want. Okay. Right. Let's pay close attention now to see if this works. We should keep an eye on the shields and hull and see if it goes down with the next attack. It doesn't! And then it does! It worked! Okay. Fucking first time. Pro coder. Yeah. Obviously it's not ideal to have just this horrible boolean being checked on, but that's just for testing. So, yeah, but I didn't do clean code here. I just made a public boolean in a different class and checked it in the action resolver. There's probably I'm probably gonna want some kind of general ship status thing, like is it evading, is it something else? I don't know. But for now that works. I'll tidy it up later. Question is it fun? The problem is that the enemy has only one type of attack. So evading an attack, does it really do anything interesting? Could be like Darkest Dungeon, but with dignity instead of stress. Yeah. Dignity in an empty sack is worth a sack. Ferengi rule of acquisition something. I never learned the numbers. Do I use source control? We were talking about that before. I have not been using it yet. No. And I should do. Do you have a recommended? That's a good question. What do you recommend for source control if you use it yourself? Plastic SCM is integrated with it's right here. I can just like use it straight in Unity, so that would be probably the one I'd try. Git? What did you call me? It's so funny that there's just this thing called Git, because that's British. That's a British insult. Like that's an insult word in the UK. It's just like they use it in Red Dwarf. Like, do they say Git in Red Dwarf? I think they do. Yeah, Git ++. Yeah. But that's distinct from GitHub, right? GitHub is just a place. Let's see. I use Git and it's probably the most popular. How it's very unintuitive and hard to learn. Yeah, that doesn't sound good for me. Like, just because it's the most popular doesn't mean I use Smeghead version control. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so evasive maneuvers work, but the thing is, for evasive maneuvers to be a fun thing to do, you kind of need to know that your enemy is going to do a powerful attack. So maybe there should be like charge up attacks. Like it could be a type of weapon where you you play the card on this turn, but it doesn't fire until the next turn. It's like you've got to load the torpedoes. Yes, I mean missiles, not torpedoes. Yeah. Git and occasionally Gimboid. Git how is where all the Gits gather. Oh, wait, really? Git was invented by Linus Torvalds, who created Linux. He called it Git because I name all my projects after myself. Actual quote. Is that really true, or are you punking me? Because I could see that being a joke. But is that true? I thought it stood for something. I'm going to look it up now. What happens if I just Google Git? Git is a free and something. Yeah, okay. Git Wikipedia. Git is software for tracking changes in any set of files. Yeah. Where's the oh, history. Did he name it after myself? Oh yeah! It's right here. I'm an egotistical bastard and I name my bastards after myself. It does. It means unpleasant person. He did it on purpose? I thought it was just a coincidence because it was made by an American. He deliberately... I'm just glad we don't have Wanker Hub, because that could have gone much worse than Git. Seriously? He called it Git because that's so weird and silly and amazing. C-word hub. Oh god, yeah, because you can't type that in Twitch. It won't let you. I know he's not. Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, I assumed it was American because I assumed that only an American would use British slang without knowing what it means. You know, or would use a word that they don't know is British slang because they don't, and use it without understanding it. You know, like when they say fanny pack. The fact that that is a thing in America, you know, that everyone calls it that in America, is just clear that they don't care what we say in slang. So that's why I assumed that. But it was a mistake. It was actually Finnish. It was a Finnish man who was being silly. Oh well. It sounds like an insult. Yeah. Highly recommend investing in learning source control, but pick whichever one is best integrated to Unity. Yeah. I think I will do that. I will do that. Let's put that on the list. There we go. Source control. That's about making sure your ketchup doesn't go on the off the plate. There we go. Source control. You can have an idea, try a bunch of stuff. Always know that you can revert to your last best known state. Yeah. Try asking for a cigarette, and you'll find they care. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Hello, Bobby Zeal. Welcome. We call them cheek pouches. Yeah. So, the question is, what can we do to make this fun? Right? Right now, I think the enemy needs to be more interesting. That's the real problem here, because the enemy is doing one of three things. So, let's fire a missile. Pew. Let's fire some lasers. Pew. Right? All they do is recharge their shields and fire. Let's target their weapons. That's the thing I didn't point out. So the way that weapon damage works is normally you have to get through all their shields to do damage, but the target weapons is like it gets through their shields a little bit, and some of their laser goes down. So their laser keeps going down. They're recharging all their shields. Let's fire another missile and some more lasers. And when you get through the shields, hull damage also is done to the laser itself. It's just desperately recharging his shields. But it's working. Yeah. Okay, let's do the shield leech. No, let's target weapons. Yeah. Now he's firing. Let's do an overloaded shot. So I don't know if this one actually damages us and the enemy. So you see that it took some hull damage and some laser damage. Shield leech is now pointless because the enemy doesn't have any shields. So let's just recharge our. Oh, we can't do anything. Okay, so end turn. Fire lasers, double shot. Pew pew. There. Now their lasers are almost out. So I was thinking when lasers are damaged, maybe they should do half damage, and when they're destroyed, they do none. Obviously, you could have the enemy tell us about their hobbies. Yeah. Okay, double shot. Fire lasers. Okay, now their lasers are completely destroyed, and they do a heal. Like, excuse me. That was just like them repairing their ship. It's like rubbish animation, but you know you get the point. Let's fire lasers and target weapons. And, yeah, now their weapons are down, and they keep recharging their weapons, and it's not going to matter because they're going to die. If in the UK, if kids ask for a rubber, they show them to the stationery section. If in America, if kids ask for a rubber, the cashier might gasp. I mean, we ended up adopting American terminology as well, so you know, it's it can mean both. Yeah. Yes. Okay, and then we did it, and I haven't implemented death yet, but so you can see it's not an interesting opponent, right? That's the problem. I think the next thing I need to do is make the opponent interesting. And another thing I want to do is have charging weapons take more than one turn to fire. And that is what would make evasive maneuvers interesting. So rather than telegraphing all the attacks, like like Into the Breach does. Maybe only some of them could be telegraphed, right? You know, you'd have your instant fire weapons, which would be less powerful, and your telegraphing weapons, which would be more powerful, but you have more time to adapt to their attack. So you'd have some kind of pop-up here which would show they're preparing to fire, you know. Will there be encounters where you face multiple ships? If so, will you face them one at a time or all at once? I've thought about this, and I think it should just be one-on-one. That works really well for FTL. You know, FTL, it was always one-on-one. And I think it would just get muddled with multiple ships. I'm not sure though, because I'm wondering, would it be more fun to fight more than one ship, or would it just be annoying? You know, that's the question. And also, if I keep it one-on-one, multiple ships and treat them as one enemy, I guess, but then why? You know, why does that make it more interesting to play that way? I mean, one thing that could work is having like enemy fighters and your own fighters. You know, that could be like a little additional factor. Another thing we could have is things like point defense for projectile weapons. Like if you fire a missile, you could have some kind of reactive. FTL does drone things. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, in a similar vein, you could have fighters or drones that could be doing all kinds of things. So let's put that down in ideas. Let's just make an idea list. Drones, fighters. Urquan fighters versus point defense never hurts well for the fighters. That's true. Launch fighters with order formation rules like in Darkest Dungeon, but then it should probably be on both sides. Yeah. Thing is, I don't want to do the Game of Twitch integration. No, probably not. I mean, maybe. Like, you could have the chat appearing. You know, the crew would be saying things in the chat. The things that the chat is saying could be appearing above the players, above the crew's heads. What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't really want to have to control more than one ship, because the whole point is I don't think that would make it more fun. I think that would make it more annoying. You know, like commanding a fleet is just it gets into Justin TV. Yeah, God, that takes me back to when I didn't watch that. Yeah. Evasive maneuvers. So evasive maneuvers would be worth doing if you knew the enemy was charging up a powerful attack, right? And it would also be worth, let's say we could try to take out their weapons before they fire, you know, or you could charge your shields. It could be all kinds of ways to deal with it, you know, depending on what cards you happen to have and how you build your deck. So that's let's just put that in ideas rather than to do. Yeah. And the enemy can also respond to that as well. So if it's good AI, it will know if you're telegraphing and do something about it, rather than just sit there and take it. Yeah. So let's see. I also thought about scanners. I don't know what scanners would do though. Like maybe we could have modifier cards. So something like so for the targeting weapons, maybe rather than an attack card itself, it should be a card that modifies the next attack. Something like, so you'd have target weapons and it would just mean that the next attack you do hits the weapons specifically. So it would do the same amount of damage, but or maybe more damage, I don't know. Scanners can find weak points and raise that. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you could have like scan for weaknesses, or adjust weapon frequency to the enemy shields. You know, so you could be like have one attack which goes through the enemy shields, and you'd want to make sure you save that card for a powerful attack, right? You don't want to waste that on just a regular fire lasers. You want that on an overloaded shot or something. Yeah, a shield disabler, but only for one attack. So you got to use it tactically. So let's put that in the ideas. So disable shield, enemy shield for next attack. Like adjust shield. Okay. Yeah. Does it have scanners? Guile for strange effects? What? What do you mean? And hello, Vampire Neil. Welcome. I don't understand what you mean. Yeah, I was having another idea. You know, a headache with pictures. And I do have a headache, actually. I had some paracetamol, but it's not working. I might have to finish early. Yeah, damn it, I've forgotten what my idea was. Never mind. You shoot Guile from Street Fighter. Yeah. Oh, I do. It does start to feel a bit like that, actually. Yeah. It's true. I'm going quiet now because I'm getting tired. Thank you. Yeah. So scanners would be like a system you have on the ship. I also am thinking like over here, as well as your weapon systems, you'd have say engines, but then the engines would be connected to say the evasive maneuvers. What else would engines do? Maybe you could use the engines to sort of... Maybe the engines are like also a power generator, and some cards could boost the next attack, like boost attack damage. So let's add that as an idea. For one turn sort of thing, or for the next turn. Yeah, so that could be another way of telegraphing attacks. So you'd know that the enemy has done a divert power to weapons thing. Gale cards that do things like drop both sides shields. Oh, like we're surrendering sort of thing. But like, how would you get them to drop their shields just because you do it? Pretend to, right? I see. Oh, I see what you mean. Like trickery, like the Corbomite maneuver. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's trickery cards. Yeah, I like the idea. So that could be like a kind of thing that, like you level up your captain and they get more devious and you can do more kind of tricky things. That's an interesting idea. Monkey Island. That's the music. It's soothing. Yeah, so we're replete with ideas here. The question is, will it be interesting? And it's really just gonna be, the proof is gonna be in the pudding, I think. But I think, therefore I have a headache, that it's taking some shape. Insult space fighting, yes, exactly. Dealing with fire on board, yeah, that's interesting. Although, I mean, we have like a repair mechanic, which is sort of like that, but you mean like on the bridge? Appeal to the best aspects of mankind. Yeah, that's trickery, that is. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to call it a day. I'm getting a headache. It's getting worse. So I'm going to go and lie down. Because, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I hope to go at least 2 hours. Captain's chair is on fire. Lose the ability to command for one turn. Yeah. Someone did have the great idea that I can't remember who it was, had the idea of the captain gets a hallucination beam like in the Inner Light and just spends 25 minutes out. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thank you, Albionium. I really appreciate that. I'm glad it's looking good. Yeah, I mean, apart from this, right? This is dirty, but I'm gonna fix it. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you all for watching, and I'll be back next Thursday with more game dev. I'm gonna try to put up a dev log this week, and have another question. What's it for patrons? Yeah, if you'd like to support what I'm doing, go to the Patreon, and if you check out my YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel, and I'm gonna go lay down. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye now.